Alright, this is section 2.3.1, solving linear inequalities. Before we get started, I want to point out that if you are feeling confused or if you fall behind, please pause the video. If you miss something, rewind it and play it back, okay? Don't feel like you absolutely have to keep up if I'm going too fast. Alright, solving linear inequalities. So we're going to do the solving portion, then we're also going to graph the solution on a number line. So an inequality is an expression which has a less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to another expression. Okay, so this is different from equations in the sense that in equation you typically just had one quantity, which was your solution. An inequality has multiples. So if we said something like x is greater than 5, we could say 6, 7, 8, 582, so on and so forth. So there's an infinite amount of solutions with an inequality versus just like a single value for an equation. So the procedures for doing this is pretty much the same thing as a two-step equation. Okay, the first thing that you want to do, move any numbers or constants using addition or subtraction. Okay, so that's pretty basic. That's not always going to be the same thing for every single one, but 9 times out of 10 that will be the case. Get the variable by itself using multiplication or division. Okay, so we want to get that variable by itself. That's your ultimate goal pretty much anytime you're solving an equation. And there is one thing to watch out for when we are doing inequalities. Be careful. If you are multiplying or dividing by negative, you have to reverse the inequality sign. I'll talk about that more in a moment, but that's really the only thing that's going to trip you up. And then the last thing, simplify and graph the solution on a number line. So move the constants, get the variable by itself as always. Multiplication or division by a negative, you got to flip the sign, and then we're going to graph it on a number line. Okay, so before we do that, just to understand the entirety of this, if we have, say, like these basic equations right here, we will get a solution, and we are concerned with what does this look like if we were to graph it. All right, the big thing here is using an opened or closed circle. So the point is open if you're not going to include it, meaning it's not equal to that value. It will be closed if it is equal to that value. So these are very simple. We can just divide by 3, get the x by itself, and then we just have a greater than symbol, so we have 9 divided by 3. So piece of cake. X is greater than 3. That portion is easy, however, graphing it may trip you up. We're looking to see, okay, is this an open circle or a closed circle? So an open circle, you're not including the value. So this would get an open circle because this is greater than 3. It is not equal to 3, so you're not including it. So this will get an open circle. That is an O for open. So what this looks like graphically, if you go to 3, put an open circle at 3, x is greater than that, so you're going to take the values to the right because it is greater than. I'll give you a little hint. Think of this like an arrow. That is telling you the direction to shade, so it's sort of pointing to the right, so we shade to the right. Let's look at another one. 3x is greater than or equal to 9. If we divide by 3, x is greater than or equal to 3. So greater than or equal to. Equal to is telling us to use a closed circle. Go to 3. Get a solid dot. The reason you use a solid dot is because you are including that value. You're saying 3 is included in the solution, and then everything greater than that. Okay. Once again, use that as sort of an arrow to tell you which way to go. Okay, these down here, we're dividing by negative. So I said before, negative division, flip the sign. So this greater than is going to get flipped around. So it's no longer going to be greater than, it is now going to be less than. 9 divided by negative 3 becomes negative 3, so we have x is less than negative 3. That's the only thing you're watching out for, really. Everything else, pretty much the same. Open circle. Let's go to negative 3. X is less than negative 3. Negative 4 and negative 5 are less than that. And let's shade in that direction. Once again, this sort of tells you where to shade. And last one. Okay, so this is just giving you an idea of what this looks like. Once again, flip your sign. Less than or equal to, this gets a closed circle. -3, let's make that solid dot. And let's go less than, there we go, piece of cake. Alright, once again, if I'm going too fast, please pause the video and pick up as you need. Alright, solve the inequalities and graph it on a number line. So these are all two-step equations. So for the most part, we're going to subtract. Let's get that 3 out of the way. 11 minus 3, we get 8. If you notice, I'm solving this just as I would if this said 2x plus 3 equals 11. Alright, so don't let this greater than sign throw you off. Now I'm going to divide by 2. Get x is greater than 4. And that's done. That's the solving portion. It's graphing it. We don't have number lines, so let's just make our own. Okay. If I want to go at 4, I'm just going to take a couple values above it and below it. You know, this isn't anything spectacular. It doesn't look fancy. If I'm saying greater than 4, I'm not including it, so that we'll get an open circle. Greater than, 5 and 6 are greater than, so I'm going to shade to the right, and that's done. We solved it, graphed it, finished. Okay, let's keep it going. 4 minus 3x is greater than 13. Subtract 4. We get -3x is greater than 9. So we have this negative right here. We know ahead of time, or at least hopefully we know this. We are going to flip the sign. So we are no longer going to have greater than. We will now have less than. 9 divided by -3 is -3. Solving it. Boom. That's finished. Let's see what this looks like on a number line. Once again, this doesn't have to be fancy. Plot your main point and a couple points, couple points to the right and to the left. Fix that real quick. Okay. -3, open circle since we're not including it. Less than, boom, done. Okay. Alright, if those were too quick, please pause and go back. Otherwise, we're going to keep it moving. Alright, these are a little different in the sense that they are reversed and the order is different. The x is on the right-hand side as opposed to the left. That's not going to stop us. We're going to make one slight change when we get to the end. So let's take this x and let's add it. So we're going to get 10 is greater than or equal to 2x. Alright, same as before. Let's divide to solve. And we get 5 is greater than or equal to x. When you get to this, that looks different, obviously, from what we had up here. We can easily reverse this, just sort of create this mirror image, and say x is, if you look at it from right to left, we can sort of translate it to look a little better and a little easier to understand. So x is less than or equal to 5. Plot this guy on a number line, a couple points above it, below it. If you notice, these are not fancy by any means. This is plenty enough to get the job done. Less than or equal to 5. Since it says equal to, we're going to do a solid dot this time. Values which are less than 5, 3 and 4 are less than 5. So that's why we're going to shade over here. 6 and 7 are not less than 5, so we are not going to shade to the right. So if you're a little confused as to how we're shading, that's the reason why, and that is finished. Okay, and try this last one real quick. 4 is greater than or equal to x divided by 10 plus 5. So once again, let's get this 5, move it out of the way. Okay. Since we are dividing by 10, we need to undo the division by doing multiplication. If you do that, this cancels. Don't forget to do it on the other side. 10 times -1 is -10. and this becomes negative 10 is greater than or equal to x. Same as before, you can take this, create a mirror image, just reverse the order. X is less than or equal to negative 10. Okay, throw this on a number line. Just do a few points above it and below it. Less than or equal to negative 10. So we have equal to, that's telling us automatically we should have a filled in dot. And less than, we should go to the left. Okay, we're going to take values that are less than that. Okay, so once again, that was a little too quick for you. Please stop it, go back. Otherwise, I would like for you to pause it, regardless of how you feel. Pause it and try these two examples. Okay, pause, try, take a couple minutes, see what you can do, and see if you can get these correct. Alright, hopefully you have paused and you've tried these on your own. And let's see what we get. Let's add this 5. 4x is greater than or equal to negative 4. Divide. X is greater than or equal to negative 1. Okay. And our number line, let's go a few points above it and below it. And greater than or equal to negative 1. Hopefully you took a solid dot at negative 1. Greater than 0 is greater than negative 1 as well as 1. So we're going to shade to the right. Okay, that guy's finished. And this last one real quick. Let's subtract this 5. Negative 7 minus 5, we get negative 12. So we get negative 12 is less than negative 3. You should notice already, since we're dividing by a negative, we're going to flip the sign. So negative 12 divided by negative 3 is positive 4. Flip the sign. We get 4 is greater than x. To just reverse this so you can look at it a little better. We get x is less than 4. Okay, once you do that, throw it on a number line. Couple points above it, couple points below it. Less than, since it is not equal to. Open circle, less than. There you go, done. Alright, and to finish this up, on a separate sheet, please try these 5. Number 5, I gave you a little hint. This one looks a little different from what we've tried on the examples, but you can still do it. Just do that little hint first. So do those on a separate sheet of paper and graph on the number line. If you've gotten to this point and you are confused or you think you missed something, please rewind it. Play it back as many times as you need to make sure you understand what's going on. Otherwise, good luck on those 5, and I will see you tomorrow.